So I was having a conversation with a client the other day, and I thought that this was a pretty good topic to talk about since a lot of barbershop owners struggle with motivating employees. And you might feel like if you're a barbershop owner that you're the best one in there and that nobody feels like you might feel like nobody can ever be as good as you. I'm here to tell you that that is not true, and that you can definitely have people that are better than you at doing whatever it is that you think you're good at. And so the way this conversation was going is I was basically telling this client that I was super happy that I feel like we're finally getting to a point where I no longer feel like I'm the best barber in the shop. In fact, I'm like somewhere in the middle, and I'm like average in terms of the performance. And that's actually really exciting to me because for the longest time, that was my goal. I wanted to feel like I was the worst barber in my barbershop because I felt like then I could focus on growing the business. If every client didn't want to come to me, and then I could just take a step back and not feel like I had to cut hair in order for the business to survive. So what I wanted to do in this video was share the rest of my conversation with my client, and then give you some ideas on what you can do to motivate and inspire your barbers to perform better, so that way you don't have to be the one that's generating all the revenue for your barbershop. So getting into this conversation, my client was basically like, well, I told him like, I don't want to be the best barber in the barbershop. And he's like, well, did you train them? Because I told him how we're doing a rebooking contest right now and how these numbers are incredible. I've never seen numbers this high before. Some barbers are literally rebooking 100% of their clients. And the lowest number right now, I think, is 40% as far as rebooking goes. So even the lowest number is better than what our average was just a couple months ago. And he's like, so I told him that, and I was like, and he said something that got me thinking, and he said, did you train them to do that? And I was basically like, I thought about it, and I was like, no, I didn't. So then he's like, how did they get so much better? And I was like, well, I created the condition where they wanted to try, basically. So every month, for the most part, we do a contest where the barber that has the highest number, or if the team hits this number, then we get something, right? And I've never been a believer in contests. I always felt like you're just basically paying somebody extra to do something that they're supposed to be doing anyways. But I've come around from that way of thinking, and I actually find that they're super effective, because what I did for this month is we're focusing on rebooking. Is I basically said the barber that gets the highest rebooking percentage this month gets a TV. Right? So it's like this big ass TV. It's a 65-inch 4K TV. It's actually not that expensive. It was $300, but I've never seen rebooking numbers this high before. So I thought about it, and I told him, I was like, no, I didn't train them. I actually just gave them a reason to want to try, because that's really the thing. It's not that your barbers aren't capable. It's that they don't really have a reason to try. So by giving a TV to the barber that has the highest rebooking, I basically said, without showing them anything, I didn't do any different training on rebooking. I gave them a reason to want to try, and basically overnight, their performance skyrocketed, and they figured out how to do it. So even if you don't know how to train somebody to get better at something, you as the barbershop owner can actually create the conditions which lead to that higher performance, which in this case was a TV, right? But maybe your barbers don't care about a TV. You can test different prizes. We've done tools, we've done paid time off, we've done cash, gift cards. You just have to find a thing that your barbers care about and switch it up maybe every now and then. But I strongly recommend that every month you do a contest in your barbershop and try to boost whatever the number is that you think you need to boost the most. Like this month, we're focusing on rebooking because we're going into the busy season and we want our clients to come back, and we don't want to turn away people right before the holidays that need a haircut just because they waited till last minute. So we want to start training our clients to think about booking their next appointment in advance. And ultimately, rebooking is a great habit to get into anyways as a barber, because if you can choose when your clients come back, they're more likely to come back more frequently, and they're going to come back at the time that's best for you, because a lot of times clients don't think about their hair till close to the weekend, and they all want to come in on Friday and Saturday, and you were sitting around doing nothing earlier in the week. But if you can start to train them to come back when it's best for you, then everybody wins, right? They come back at a time that's more calm in the shop, and you free up your busy days to get the new clients, the walk-ins. So I think that it's a really good idea for you guys as barbershop owners to do contests every single month to motivate your barbers to actually try, right? So, you can also use this as a way to test new things. Sometimes I want to create new ways of paying barbers, but I want to give myself a way where I could take it away later if it doesn't make sense. So you can introduce things as a contest. For example, if you want to do paid time off, or you want to pay commission on something but you're not sure if it's actually worth it, then maybe start it as a contest. So that way, if it doesn't end up making sense for you, you can always take it away because you pre-framed that this was just temporary anyways. So I actually really like that strategy for introducing new things into the shop. Like, first, do it as a contest. For example, the most recent thing that I did was a membership. We started paying commission basically on membership sales. We have a membership in our shop. If a barber sells a membership, then they get a percentage of that. But I started it as a contest because I didn't know if it was going to work. So I said, for this month only, for every membership you sell, you're going to get whatever, right? And it worked. So then I did it again. I did it another month, and then it worked again. So I'm like, all right, we're just going to make this permanent, right? Because another thing is, if they know it's going away, they're going to try way harder to squeeze every bit out of that as possible before it goes away. It's urgency, right? They know it's going away. But if you make something, the second you make something permanent, you usually see the numbers start to drop, right? So it's actually the opposite. And the same thing happened for us with product sales, surprisingly. We used to do contests. We used to not pay the barbers commission on product sales. And then our product sales were actually higher before that because we would do contests and things every now and then. But the second we made commission on product sales permanent, the product sales plummeted, which is completely counterintuitive. But sometimes human behavior doesn't make sense. So you can use urgency in these contests to introduce new things. And then if it turns out that it's worth it for you, then you can make it permanent. But I would strongly recommend, if you're thinking about making a change in your barbershop, especially when it comes to paying, how you pay your barbers, maybe introduce it as temporary, like a contest. And then if it turns out to make sense after looking at the numbers, then you just say, hey, this is permanent now. So right now we're doing a rebooking contest. We do different contests all the time. You can do a product sales contest. You can do a membership contest if you have a membership. You can do an add-on contest. You can do the highest productivity, whoever is the most busy. I don't know if that one's a fair one to do because there's not too much. You want to incentivize things that you can the barbers actually have control over. And filling their schedule is not something that they can really influence a lot unless they're really good at rebooking and they're really good at marketing. They can add on services to fill up a little bit more of that time with the clients that are coming in. But we actually haven't done the productivity or utilization contest yet because that's one of those things you want to make it fair too, right? So you can also do a different structure, the contest different ways. An easy one is just like whoever has the highest. You can have multiple winners. So you can do the top one, first place, second place, third place. You can do most improved. We're testing that now. So that's cool because it gives the people that maybe don't have the highest numbers a chance to maybe beat their own numbers from last month. You can do a team contest. So if you want to make it more about the team, you can say if the team hits this number, then everybody gets this thing, right? But one thing I will say is that we've tested different types of prizes, digital prizes versus monetary prizes versus physical stuff. And it's definitely way more effective if you're going to give something to the winners if you have a physical thing there, right? And for example, a pair of clippers, just sitting on a station so they have to look at it every single day is just that constant little reminder why they're doing this. And I think one of the reasons why the TV has been so effective this month is because it's this giant 65-inch TV in a big orange box sitting on top of the product shelf. So it's just like it's really hard to miss, right? So I think actually this is a newer theory of mine, but the grandness of the prize, I think matters as much, if not more, than the value of the prize, if that makes sense. Because the TVs, like I mentioned, $300, a little bit less than that actually, and we've given away prizes that were worth way more than $300. But because the scale of this box that this TV is in, it just dominates the room. It's actually bigger than our product shelf, and for some reason people are just trying way harder. I mean, they could easily go and buy a TV themselves for less than $300, but the fact that they can win it for free, and it's a little bit easier to get clients to rebook, for example, than it is to like sell them a product, because it doesn't involve the client spending any extra money too. So you want to figure out the behaviors that you want to drive in your business, and then design a contest around it. This is some of the stuff that comes up pretty regularly in our barbershop owner group. We're always talking about how to motivate and incentivize the barbers. So one of the biggest lessons I've learned as a barbershop owner is you want to find the things that grow the business, and then find a way to merge that with the way that the barbers make more. Because if you can align how barbers make more with how the business makes more, then that's when the magic really starts to happen. Because that's how you can get people to act like owners without being owners, is to pay them the way an owner would get paid. So if you tie their behaviors and their pay in some form to things that grow the business, then your shop will grow more, period. If you just pay them like employees, then that's all you're gonna get. But if you can align the things that grow the business with how they make them, then the business will grow faster. So we're experimenting constantly with this. I'm always looking for ways to put more money in my barber's pocket. So I can just tell you though that I'm super excited with the way things are going in our shop. I'm no longer the best barber in there, which is very exciting to me. And all I did was try to figure out, what do they want? What prize would make them want to try? What behaviors do we want to reward? And that's based off the things that grow the business. So if you want to motivate your barbers and you want to grow your barbershop, figure out what they need to do in order to do that, and then reward it in a way that makes sense. Maybe you don't need to give away a TV like we are, but just figure out even a small prize, even sometimes just a pat on the back is enough to make them want to try a little bit harder. But I think having a little bit of competitiveness definitely goes a long way, because there's a lot of times people are winning these contests that don't even need new tools. They definitely don't need a TV. They don't need, but it's the fact that there's something to win. There's a reason to try. If you get one thing out of this video, it's if you want barbers to perform at their very best, then you have to give them a reason to want to. And once you find what that thing is, that's when the magic starts to happen. So hopefully you found this helpful. Try designing a contest for your barbers. Let me know how it works. I'll see you in the next one.